Hello everyone, it's Tana. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the Scrappy Tails Crafts and Pear Blossom Press collab hop. Today we're sharing lots of whimsical cards that'll really brighten up your day. They feature the dreamy new stamps and dies from the Scrappy Tails Crafts, and with a little help from Pear Blossom Press, they're all going to light up. So be sure to hop along with us for lots of inspiration. Our designers have come up with some stunning cards for you guys today. I have some more information, but I will show you here what I'm working with today. I have the A2 Forest cover plate and the fairy silhouettes. And I have the halo lights and a 2-pack of easy lights, but I'm going to use the halo lights today for the first time. And I showed you there, I pre-cut out my images. I pre-cut the forest cover plate out of a Tonic black glitter cardstock. And then I cut the fairies out of the shiny black Tonic cardstock. I suppose you could call it mirrored, but you can't really see anything in the black cardstock from Tonic. So here I am ink blending a background, and I'm going for a night sky here. I have the colors listed for you on the screen there. And while you are watching that, wanted to tell you guys I will have the person next in line for the hop linked below in my description box. And Pear Blossom Press and Scrappy Tails Crafts would love to see what you guys would create with these products, so they're giving some away. Scrappy Tails and Pear Blossom Press are each giving away a $25 store credit. Comment on this post or this video, because there are some posts and some videos, by July 9th, 2021 to be entered to win, and the winners will be announced on July 12th. So after I got my main colors down on the panel there, I trimmed it down. And I have the dimensions on the screen for you there. And then I went around the edges with my purple Queen for a Day, just to add a little bit of, I don't know, just so it wasn't all blue. I wanted it to look like a true night sky. And then I took the purple ink that was left on my brush and just kind of lightly brushed it over the entire panel. Then I sprayed it with 2 of my favorite glimmer sprays, and I showed those on the screen for you. And then I took some white gouache and watered that down just a tiny bit and started splattering my entire panel with it. Now, I did this for a good 5 minutes. I went back and added more white gouache because it seemed a little watery to me, and I dried it in between layers and added even more white gouache. I wanted it to look like there was a ton of stars. So because the halo light has all the lights in place for you, now I love the easy lights, but I wanted to try the halo lights because I've never tried them before. And I didn't think easy lights could get any easier. The halo lights are even easier, guys. It was just so easy to put this card together. So I was finding a circle die that would cover up the edge of the halo lights that hold the lights in place. But I didn't want to cover up so much that you wouldn't be able to see the lights shining. So I found a perfect circle die from my Hero Arts Infinity circle dies. And now I'm going to cut a hole in my panel, and you saw me there just kind of seeing where I was going to place my halo lights to make sure there was room for the battery compartment along the side and also for some foam tape. I cut my circle out, and I'm just getting rid of some stray cardstock there. And there are my lights without the pull tab in there, and keep that pull tab because you can use that to save the battery when you put your card in the mail. And now I'm putting a piece of acetate behind that circle I cut out, and of course I should have probably traced the circle for this piece of glitter cardstock first, but I didn't. But it was easy enough to put it in its spot. And that is a piece of, I believe, sugar crystal Tonic cardstock, but I'll put that on the screen for you guys. I used some really strong double-sided adhesive to put those halo lights in place. And now I'm going to use some vellum to put some clouds in between my acetate and on top of the halo lights. I was very careful when I did this, just tiny, tiny dots of glue. I didn't want to get any glue anywhere near my battery compartment. And my whole idea was to turn this into the moon into a shaker, and I do succeed in that. Some of my shaker bits get caught up in those clouds, but I don't think I would change it because I think the clouds add a nice element. So here I'm putting my glue along my forest cover plate. And then we're going to place that on our starry night sky panel. And now I'm going to go to the Hefty Doodle foam tape because it's deep. I think it's 3 millimeters deep, and it's easier than doubling up the foam tape before I put it on. So I was able to use the 1/2 inch wide for most of it, and as you can see, I skipped the whole part where the battery compartment is. And then I used some of the 1/4 inch wide right around that circle, and I was super careful to add only a little bit of glue to keep that in place because I needed somewhere for my shaker bits to go, and I also needed to block off the battery compartment area so none of my shaker bits would get inside of there. And I did succeed. It turned out really good. I was just, like I said, be super careful with your glue if you're going to add glue to your foam tape. So now I'm just putting one more tiny piece in there, and that's it for the foam tape. And while that dries, there's my lights. They look so cool through the acrylic blocks. I'm going to stamp out pull on that little piece of cardstock that goes between the battery and the battery compartment. And then I'm going to start adding my shaker bits. So there's some clear confetti sequins in there, a few clear seed beads, and some of these, I think they're cloud circle confetti from Tonic. And I still think I overdid it a little bit, but, you know. So now I'm going to add some glue to all of my foam tape after I peel off the backing. And then we're going to place our panel on top. And I had a little bit of a hard time lining up my circle there without getting my head in the way, but I did manage to do it. I just had to trim a little bit of the white cardstock off of the top there when I was done. And now I'm stamping out the inside of my card. And I'm taking from the, I believe it's Fairy Sentiments. I don't have that with me. I will put that on the screen as well. And I'm choosing a fairy happy birthday for the inside of the card. And I love the way that word fairy looks. It's all big and scripty. So after I have that lined up, and that's a piece of gray cardstock there. And I ink it up with some black ink there. And now I'm stamping the sentiment that goes on the front of the card. And I'm doing that on black cardstock that has been powdered up very well with an anti-static tool, powder tool. And I'm using my Wow Superfine Bright White Opaque Embossing Powder. Loving wishes and a fairy happy birthday. So loving wishes and goes on the front there. And then the inside sentiment on the inside of the card. And I went with a black card base. So I'm going to glue my sentiment strip down there under the tree branch. And I chose the singular fairy rather than the two fairies together. I didn't want to her to take up too much of the card, so I just chose one. You guys would be surprised how much time I spent on that decision. And then I took the little star dies, I call them twinkle stars, and cut some of those out of the same glitter paper that I used for the moon. And I had to write push on this star right here because the stamp was just too large. Every push stamp I had was too large for the inside of the star. So I glued some more around the panel. And I also glue one so it looks like the fairy is blowing it out of her hand and up into the sky. And one down there by the sentiment. Now we're going to glue that whole front panel onto the card base since everything's dry now. So there's the front, the inside, and then I'll turn off the lights so you guys can see the rest. So that's it, guys. Be sure to follow everybody in the hop. Don't forget to hop along. Leave a comment on every stop along the way to increase your chances to be chosen for one of the prizes. And we will see you next time you visit my channel. Bye-bye for now, guys.